Everyone, so I'm going to be doing the corrections for Monday's Master Your Maths from week 23. So question 1 was 3 hours 52 minutes plus 1 hour and 32 minutes. So I have it written up here on my board, so I'm going to start adding now. 2 and 2 is 4, 5 and 3 is 8, 3 and 1 is 4. So 4 hours and 84 minutes, but obviously we have another hour in here, so we can convert it over. So I'm going to take 60 over to the hours. So 4 will become 5. Take my 60 away here. So it would be 5 hours and 24 minutes is the answer there for number 1. Now question 2. How many grams in 1.5 kilograms? So we know there is 1,000 grams in a kilogram. So then half would be 500. So 1.5 would be 1,500 grams. Question 3. Circle the odd one out. So we've got a half, 2 quarters, 5 6 and 4 8. So a half and 2 quarters and 4 eighths are all equal. So 5 6 would be the odd one out. So 1/2 is the same as having 2 quarters or 4 eighths, but 5 6 wouldn't be the same. 3 6 would, but 5 6 is the odd one out here. Question 4. 4.65 times 100. Now we know when you're multiplying by 100, you can just add on your 2 zeros, but that actually doesn't work with decimals, because if I added on 2 zeros here, it actually wouldn't change the number at all. So with a decimal, what you can do is you can actually just move the decimal over 2 spaces. So your answer would be 465. Now question 5. Write 25 7/100 in decimal form. So what I've done here is I've written out my hundreds, tens in units, and I've done my decimal and my tenths and my hundreds just to help myself with the columns. So I have my 25 in here, there's no hundreds. So 25, then I put in my decimal. There was no tenths and there was 700, so it would be 25.07. So question 6. How many edges has an octagonal prism? So an octagonal prism would have 8 edges around the side and 8 up the top and then another 8 down the bottom. So 3 eighths would be 24 altogether. Question 7. 2 and 9/10 hours equals how many minutes? So the first thing I'm going to do is find my 9/10 of an hour. So that's 9/10 of 60. So when I want to find a fraction of a number, I divide by the bottom and multiply by the top. So 60 divided by 10 is 6, and then I'm going to multiply that by 9, and that would be 54. So 9/10 of an hour is 54 minutes, and then you had your 2 hours, so that was 120 minutes. Add that to your 54, and all together you get 174 minutes. Question 8. 71 divided by 5 equals something, remainder, something. So let's divide it in. So 5 into 7 goes once, 2 left over. 5 into 21 goes 4 times, and then 1 left over. So 14, remainder 1. Question 9. I spent 0.4 and 0.25 of my money. What decimal fraction is left? So first thing I'm going to do is add my 2 decimals, which we were doing last week. So I'm going to write 0.4 as just 0.40, adding in my 0 there just to help me. So 0 and 5 is 5, 4 and 2 is 6, down your decimal, and then 0. So 0.65 is what they spent. So to see what they have left over, I'm going to take that away now from 1. So that's the whole amount. So 0 take 5 we can't do, so nothing to borrow. So going over here and carrying over. Now 10 minus 5 is 5. 9 minus 6 is 3. Bring down my decimal, and 0 minus 0 is 0. So what's left is 0.35. Question 10. How many lengths, 50 meters each, are needed to swim 1,500 meters? So that's going to be a dividing sum, 50 into 1,500. Now that's actually long division, which we haven't done yet. So to make that easier, I can just knock off the zeros here and then make it 5 into 150. So 5 into 1 doesn't go. So bring over my 1, and then 5 into 15 goes 3 times, and then 5 into 0 doesn't go, so the answer there is 30. Question 11, order from smallest to largest. So looking at these fractions here, we must find the smallest one. Now we can see straight away that 1/9 will be the smallest, and then we've got 1/3, 2/3, 5/9. So 1/3 would be the same as how many ninths? 3/9. So that's definitely next. So we'd be 1/9, then 1/3. Now 2/3 and 5/9, which would be the next one here? Well, 2/3 is the same as 6/9, so that would be bigger than 5/9. So 5/9 comes next, and then the last one is 2/3. So the order you should have them in would be 1/9, then 1/3, then 5/9, and then 2/3. Question 12, write 36/10 as a decimal fraction. So that is a top-heavy fraction, so 30/10 is going to be 3 units, and then you'd have 6/10 left over, so 3.6 would be your answer here. Okay, so on to our problems. Question 13, a bus can seat 54 passengers. If each passenger pays €4.45, how much money is collected altogether? So that is going to be a long multiplication sum. So it would be easiest now if you put your 4.45 up the top and then your 54 at the bottom. Just ignore the decimal at the start and multiply as normal, and then we can add our decimal in at the end. Okay, so 5 4s are 20. Down my 0 and carry my 2. 4 4 is 16 plus 2 is 18, and 4 4 is 16 plus 1 is 17. Now don't forget to put down your 0. 5 5 is 25, so I'll put down my 5 and carry my 2 up the top. 4 5 is 20 plus 2, 22, and 4 5 is 20 plus 2, 22. So then we are going to add those together. So 0 and 0 is 0, 8 and 5 is 13, 7 and 2 is 9, and 1 is 10, 1 and 2 is 3, plus 1 is 4, and then 2 and nothing is 2. Now, sorry, it's a bit squashed there now, but don't forget then, come back and put in your decimal. So if it's 2 places over there, it's 2 places over here. Remember, we're talking about money anyway, so it's always 2 decimals. So it will be €240.30. So I must put in my euro sign here now as well. Okay, question 14. How much less than 820 is the sum of 321 and 416? So the sum of means add. So we add those numbers first. So 1 and 6 is 7, 2 and 1 is 3, and 3 and 4 is 7. And then we take that number away from 820 to get our answer. So 0 take 7 we can't do, so we must borrow. 10 take 7 is 3. 1 take 3 we can't do, so we're going to borrow again. And then 11 take 3 would be 4. And then 7 take 7 is 0. So your answer there is 43. Okay, question 15. A film started at 7:40 and finished at 10:10. There was a break in the film from 9 to 9:20. What was the length of the film? So the first thing I would do here would be work out the time from 7:40 until 10:10. So 7:40, and then what I do is I count up into the hours. So I go 8:40 is 1 hour, 9:40 is another hour, and then from 9:40 to 10:10 would be 30 minutes. So it would be 2 hours and 30 minutes. But then we must take away the 20-minute break. So you'd be left with 2 hours and 10 minutes for the total length of the film. Question 16. From a piece of material 18 meters long, 2 pieces of length 5.75 meters and 3.25 meters were cut off. What was the value of the material left at 5.85 per meter? So there's a few bits to this now. The first thing we need to do anyway is get rid of the 5.75 and the 3.25 from the 18 meters. So we start with our 18 meters, and the first thing I'm going to do is take away 5.75. So we can't take here, so we're going to have to go over and borrow. So 10 take 5 is 5, 9 take 7 is 2, bring down my decimal, 7 take 5 is 2, and 1 take away nothing is 1. Okay, so now I have to take away the next part, which was 3.25 meters. So 5 take 5 is nothing, 2 take 2 is nothing, bring down my decimal, 2 take 3 I can't do, so I'll borrow, and 12 take away 3 is 9. And then you just have your 0 here left. So after we cut off the 5.75 and the 3.25 meters, we're left with 9 meters in total. And the second part of the sum said, what was the value of the material left at 585 per meter? So we're going to do 585 now times 9 to see what the value is. So I can just write by 9 like this because remember it's 585 per meter and I have 9 meters, so I don't need to go writing 9.00 or anything like that, just 9 on its own is perfect. So 5 9s are 45, so put down my 5 and carry my 4. 8 9s are 72 plus 4 is 76, so put down my 6 and carry my 7. 5 9s are 45 plus 7 is 52. And then if you have 2 spaces here to put in your decimal, so the answer is going to be €52.65. Okay, so there was a good bit to that sum now. I hope you got on all right, and if you have any questions, let us know.